I came to the United States as a child with my mother and my brother from Switzerland because of the threat of Hitler overtaking Switzerland. I came full of idealism, with the American dream very bright, and my mother instilled in both me and my brother the belief that anything is possible in America. To get yourself off the couch, you have to have two almost conflicting motivations. One is a level of anger, that things are not right, that things should change. But if you're too angry, you either opt out of the system or you become a radical revolutionary and want to tear the whole thing down. But the right measurement of anger leads to action if it is combined with optimism. The environmental movement gave me an issue. Vermont was a forerunner in environmental legislation and trying to control development, and I wanted to be on the side of those who supported protecting Vermont's environment. The other movement was the women's movement, which in the early 70s really affected my timing, I would say, more than anything else. I always thought I'd get involved in politics when my children were grown and off in college, and it was something in the far distant future. But the women's movement gave those of us in my generation permission to step out now, to become active. And I had 4 children. I was a very busy mother, but somehow the women's movement gave me the impetus to say, why not now? As governor, probably the most gratifying part of the job was being able to set an agenda. And you can, that way, have an impact. If you keep your eye on the long-term vision, it's possible to have an impact. I was in elective office a total of 16 years. Bill Clinton was elected president. I worked on the campaign. I was part of the transition. I was on a 3-person group to advise him on the vice president. And then I ended up as Deputy Secretary of the U.S. Department of Education and later as Ambassador to Switzerland. Women of my generation were in the vanguard, but I always thought there'd be a tidal wave following us. Well, that hasn't happened. What is holding women back? When women are educated as never before, we know what's going on, we are informed, but something is barring the door. As I went about writing this book, I quickly concluded that it was not enough for me to tell my story. My story is interwoven through the book, but it's really the voices of other women that I think can provide the most powerful role models for women of this generation and younger. One of the differences I found that many women's organizations have discovered who encourage women to run for office is that women are less likely to identify themselves to run for political office. The jargon for it is self-identify. A young man will wake up while he's shaving, look in the mirror and say, maybe I think I can run for the United States Senate. Well, very few, if any, women do that. They want to be over-prepared, over-experienced before they throw their hats in the ring. So we have to figure out how to ask women. If they don't ask themselves, we have to ask them, and that is beginning to happen. But there are differences, there are things we can do, and it's about time that we do them.